All right. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak today among so many great leaders in this industry. My name is Rex Lowther, and I'm the Executive Director for Future Natural Resource Leaders, or FNRL for short. I grew up in the woods. I learned to run a skidder when I was 13 years old and ran my own logging crew at 16. I started my own logging company after college, and after 6 years, I was called in a different direction. I started teaching forestry at Scioto High School in 2004 and did so for 16 years prior to my current position. FNRL is a nonprofit student leadership organization. We operate on a small grant from the Oregon Department of Education, along with other private grants and donations. FNRL is a career technical student organization, or CTSO. Other CTSOs are FFA, like over here, FBLA, DECA, etc. We fulfill a leadership requirement of the Federal Perkins Grant. High schools develop a program of study in natural resources, and one of the requirements is student leadership. If you want to know more about that, you can come see me out at our booth, and we have heat. To simplify it, think of FNRL as forestry and natural resources education in high schools. These high school programs become members of FNRL and receive professional development training for teachers, along with student leadership. We have a wildland fire school and our state convention for students. We have a board of directors made up of private industry, Oregon Department of Education, and forestry educators, both high school and college. We have 5 state officers that I train in leadership, and these students are elected by their peers and come from all over the state. This past year, they've had the opportunity to speak at the Pacific Logging Congress, spend time at the Oregon Logging Conference, and they, as well as at our booth, as well as helping pass out the seedlings at the OLC, and they hand out awards at each of our career development events. The career development events, or CDEs, are events where programs come together and students show proficiency in several different skills related to forestry. Career development events, proficiency, sounds like more political jargon, and it is. These are competitions. The students compete, and they compete fiercely. They work hard in school to develop skills that are critical to this industry. And they show up on Saturdays, missing work, because a lot of them do work, which is why I don't have any up here today, to compete against other schools. They practice in the sun, rain, snow, and fog. They sacrifice their time because their teachers show them how important these skills are to have. And the more they compete, the more confident they become. Some of these events are physical in nature, including axe throwing, choker setting, cross cutting, chainsaw bucking, and tree climbing. These are events they work hard at and are physically demanding. These students also learn technical skills like how to read topographic maps. During the contest, they come inside, tracking mud across classrooms. They sit down and fill out a map reading test. They find legal descriptions and triangulate locations. They determine slope and aspect. When they are done with that, they move on to next events like public speaking and job interview. They identify trees and shrubs, tools, and wildlife. And then they head back out into the weather to scale logs, run a hose lay, and use nothing but a compass and their feet to close a course. They do it all to earn a coveted ribbon. And let me tell you, the smile on a student's face comes from Portland to compete at Tillamook when they win their first ribbon is priceless. Next week, around 120 of these students will attend our fire school at Camp Tadmore. They will come and stay 2 nights. They will spend time in classes with instructors from the Oregon Department of Forestry. They will go to bed late and get up early and spend all day in the wet Pacific Northwest forest learning how to fight fire. They dig line, learn about use of water, run hose lay, and learn first aid. They will sweat like crazy, and through the mud on their faces, you will see a huge smile. They come back to camp exhausted after competing against their peers in the woods. They spend time with professionals from the Society of American Foresters answering questions during breakfast. They take a simulated pack test. They compete in a dirt throwing contest. And then they go home absolutely drained and completely filled at the same time. I have witnessed students conquer fear of public speaking. I have seen them interview so many times over their high school career that by the time they are a senior, they're receiving job offers at each event. They go from shaking while a foot off the ground, wearing spurs, and tied to a tree, to climbing 30 feet in 7 seconds. Many of the programs have portable sawmills, and the students learn how to take a tree from standing to a finished product. They learn safety, teamwork, sportsmanship, and the appreciation of our state's most abundant natural resource. Why is any of this important? It is because these students are the future in our industry. They're the loggers, truck drivers, millwrights, sawyers, mechanics, foresters, wildlife biologists, log scalers, managers, and firefighters. They care about the forest. They care about nature. They hunt, fish, ride, and dream in the woods. They go camping, and when they propose, they do it on a clear cut, overlooking a freshly planted crop of trees while the sun sets. They live and breathe the outdoors. The ones that don't still gain at least an understanding of the industry. They become educated voters. They learn to appreciate the work done by hand. So the kids have always been the future. Why is this time any different? I spoke with a young man the other day for about 30 minutes. He's an electrician, 24 years old. Some of the takeaways from that talk were he understood his position and his work like no other generation before. He said he gets congratulated and told how happy he must be with all the money he is making from working in the trades. He said it is good money, but not like what people think. He realized that what he did was work. He put in all the plugs and light switches in my house. He said not long ago that he worked on an apartment building. What we promote as exciting and fascinating is what he terms repetitive work. He does the same thing every day. Most of us understand that is how life is. We do the same thing every day. The difference is that this generation doesn't want to do that, and they don't have to. What I gather from Generation Z is that they want to work. They want to make money, they want to be creative, and they want to do it on their own terms. I heard of an OSU student the other day who's making $7,000 a month selling items on Amazon in his free time. I have shop space and some free time, sign me up. This generation is innovative and entrepreneurial. They will change the way things are done and do them faster, better, and cheaper. We better start paying attention. Let's bring this back to the timber industry, logging specifically. Long hours, lots of travel. You get dirty and tired and make less than you would in any other trade. My sons are leaving the timber industry and headed into construction. They have operating experience, and one will make double what he did logging, and another a third more. They will have a steady paycheck, better working conditions, and better benefits. We live in a unique time. This generation can leave their job today and go work somewhere else tomorrow. Or they can work for themselves and make even more. Times have changed and the industry needs to change. And I know that's a big task considering many guys in the industry are close to retirement and have done it the same way forever. So why change? If we don't, we'll be left behind. Someone else will come in and do the job and do it better. Bigger companies are already making the change. Knife River changed their whole structure to incorporate a work-life balance. Gone are 7 days a week working 8-hour shifts. Now, I don't have all the answers. I do know that most of the answers don't necessarily start in that building over there. There's no industry where you can break something and get paid to try to fix it and only make it worse. I'll use an analogy from the trades. Your house floods with a broken pipe. You look up plumbers and call the one that says he is the best in his ad. He comes and fixes the leak. He leaves, and a few days later, the pipe breaks again right where he fixed it. Then you call the same plumber to come back and fix it, and he does. A few days later, breaks again. Who do you call? The same plumber. Why do you call the same plumber? Well, he says he's the only one that can do the job. When you ask him about hiring someone else, he brings up reasons why they won't work. He can't tell you why he's the only one for the job, just why someone else isn't. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Our state's been doing this for 50 years. We live in the most beautiful state in the lower 48, hands down. I've been around the country. I've seen a lot of scenery. I remember driving around the West one summer. We left Oregon, went through Idaho, and into Montana and Wyoming. Drove through Yellowstone and then on to the Dakotas. We headed into Colorado and drove through the Rockies. From there into Utah, Idaho, and then home into Oregon. I remember driving on Highway 20 approaching Bend, and I was amazed. The most beautiful scenery on our entire trip, and it was here. The mountain peaks broke through the skyline like nothing I had seen anywhere. We drove through Bend, appreciating the peaks, and headed over the pass through the woods. I was awestruck thinking about how beautiful our state is and saddened as I thought about how we mismanaged so much of it. That is why natural resource education is important, and that is why continuing to fight for our industry is important. Thank you.